Hi, kindergartners! Welcome back to Social Studies with Mrs. Miller. Today in Lesson 8, we will be talking about the rules of a school community. Oh. Do you recognize that sound? Oh, who must that be? Yes, that's right. That sounds just like Bluebird the Rule Bird. What's that, Bluebird? Oh, Bluebird the Rule Bird wants to remind us of our classroom rules. Do you remember what they are? See if you could name all 4 across your fingers. Ready, set, go. Okay, let's see how you did. Let's see if you were able to remember all 4. Here are our class rules. Be safe. Read them with me. Ready? Number 1, be safe. Number 2, be a good friend. Number 3, do my best learning. And number 4, be respectful. So before we go on to talking about rules in our whole school community, I thought we could do this sorting activity. Some of these rules would be rules in our whole school community, and some are just classroom rules. So you'll find this sheet along with this sheet, this activity sheet, in your Google Classroom if you're learning from home. If you're at school, your teacher will give it to you. What you'll need to do is cut out all of these pictures. We'll read through them, and then you're going to paste them in the right spot on this sheet. So the directions on this sheet say, cut out the sorting cards and paste them in the correct column. So this is one column, it says following the rules, and this is another column, it says not following the rules. Okay, so let's read through these together. This one says, raise your hand if you have something to say. Is that following the rules or not following the rules? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Following the rules, that's right. Raising your hand when you have something to say would be an example of following the rules. So after you cut that out, you would paste it here. Let's look at the next one. Use a quiet voice when working or playing. What do you think? Is that following the rules or not following the rules? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Following the rules, that's right. Using a quiet voice when playing or working is following the rules. That's being respectful of others. Okay, what about this one? Run around the classroom. What do we think? Which column would that go under? Following the rules or not following the rules? Would running around the classroom be an example of following or not following the rules? Call it out in 3, 2, 1. Not following the rules. You're right. Okay, so I'm going to read through the rest of these with you, but you will cut them out on your own, and then you're going to paste them in the right spot. Okay, you can read along with me. Use your hands on other people. Scream and shout. Walk around the classroom. Stay in your seat or space. Treat classroom materials with care. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video here. You're going to cut out all of these different cards, and then you're going to paste them onto this sheet. So for this activity, you will need a pencil to write your name. You'll need a glue stick and you'll need scissors. Once you're finished with this activity sheet, you can come back, unpause this video for some more learning. I'll see you soon. All right, welcome back, my friends. So I have a book for us to listen to. It's called Safe at School. Let's have a listen. Everybody have their listening ears on? Let me see them. Wiggle those listening ears. Okay, turn the volume way up. And now stretch those ears out really big. Ready? Whoop. One more time. Whoop. Okay, I think you're ready for good listening. As usual, we will be talking about this book. So make sure that you're doing really good listening so that you're prepared to talk about it.
Today we're going to read Safe at School by Nicole DeSalle. Why do you think it's important to be safe at school? School is a busy, happy place. There's so much to explore. If you're safe at school today, you'll learn and discover more. Going to school, riding to school safely. 1. Buckle your safety belt in the car. 2. Stay seated and quiet so the driver can see and hear. 3. If you ride the bus, wait for the driver's stop sign before you cross. Red means stop. Yellow means slow down. Green means go. Walking to school safely. 1. Obey all street signs. 2. Look both ways before you cross the street. 3. Cross at the crosswalk. 4. Walk with a group if you can. This little sign means walk. This one means don't walk. A crosswalk is a safe place to cross the street. Be sure to check for cars. Classroom safety in the Math Center. You are using counters. Oops, they spill on the floor. How can you be safe? What do you think you need to do? You need to clean up. In the Science Center, you are looking at fish and hermit crabs. You pick up the crab. How could you stay safe? She's washing her hands. In the Art Center, you are in the Art Center and paint spills on the table. How can you stay safe? If you said wipe up the spill, you're correct. You are ready to go home. Your backpack is on the floor. How can you stay safe? We're going to stop here at the Cubbies, and then we will find out tomorrow.
All right, I have good news for you. We don't have to wait until tomorrow. We are going to hear the rest of this story today. But before we listen to the rest of this book, I want you to share across your fingers as many things as you can think of ways to stay safe getting to school and when you're in school. What things did we hear from this book, Safe at School? You have 15 seconds to share as many things as you can think of that we learned so far about staying safe, getting to school, and staying safe in school. Ready, set, list them across your fingers, go. All right, time's up. Eyes on me. So, let's see here. What did I think of? Well, let me start with on the bus. One thing that we can do to be safe on the bus is make sure that we have our seatbelts on, right? Now, what's different about this year than other years on the bus? I was just thinking about that. So she didn't talk about this, but this year when we ride the bus, if you're riding the bus, we have to make sure that we're not sitting too close to anybody. We have to keep our social distance, and we also have to keep our mask on. That's right. And if we're walking to school, what do we have to do to be safe? We have to make sure to cross at crosswalks, right? And one other thing about getting to school, some of us are being dropped off by our family. So when we're dropped off, what's important? What rules do we have to follow when we're being dropped off? Can you turn and tell somebody next to you? I'll give you 15 more seconds to share something that we have to do if we're being dropped off. Ready, set, turn and talk. Stop, look, and listen. Okay, so I'm wondering if you were thinking some of the same things that I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, one thing we have to do again is keep our social distance and keep our mask on. Another thing is we have to wait very patiently. We have to wait until it is our turn to enter the building. Now, this book also talks about some ways to stay safe in the classroom. Not every classroom this year has a math center or a science center or an art center, but one thing that kept coming up in this book was to clean up after yourself. That is so important, right? Like if you spill paint, you want to clean it up. When you are putting your backpack down, you want to make sure that it's not on the floor. Somebody could trip over it, right? So that's something very, very important. Now we'll get to hear the rest of this book, Safe at School.
Lunchtime safety. It is important to be safe at lunchtime. Keep your hands to yourself. Stay in your seat. Raise your hand if you need help. Wipe up spills and eat your own lunch. Playground safety. It is important to be safe on the playground. Use playground equipment properly. Take turns. Wear the right clothes for the weather. If someone gets hurt, tell the teacher right away. Fire drill safety. A fire drill is practice for a real fire. Follow your teacher's directions. Fire drill safety rules. 1. Listen carefully to directions. 2. Quietly line up. 3. Walk carefully outside with your class. 4. Wait with your teacher until it's time to return to the classroom. 5. Act as if there were a real fire. Be safe at school. Discover and explore. When you choose to be safe, you will learn so much more.
Great listening, everyone. So now let's see how many more things we can name, how many more rules we can name that will keep us safe at school. In this book, they talked about staying safe at lunchtime, staying safe at recess, and staying safe during fire drills. Can you talk about the different things that we can do to stay safe? Go ahead. Again, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. I want you to name as many rules as you can think of across your fingers. Ready, set, go. up, look, and listen. All right, my friends. So let me see if you shared any of the same things that I was thinking. I was thinking at lunchtime, one important rule that they mentioned is only eat your own food, right? We don't want to spread germs, so that's very important. And another rule was always wash your hands before you eat. That will keep germs out of your mouth too. We want to make sure that our hands are clean. Now, what about on the playground? If we're playing at recess, oh, she said if somebody gets hurt to tell a teacher, right? That's very important. And then there are some other rules that weren't talked about in this book, but they are important for this year. One is to wear your mask, and another is to keep social distance, right? Let's see. Now, what else? Oh, she talked about fire drills. What are some important rules for fire drills? I think the most important one is to follow directions. Make sure that you're listening to what your teacher tells you to do. She also said stay online. Excellent listening, everyone. All right, so now I would like to teach you a song. It's called Important Rules. So would you please stand up, push in your chair, stand right behind your chair. And this song is to the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle. Do you know that song? Let's just sing that song really fast. We could do some movements with it too. Ready? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I love that song. So let's sing this song now to that same tune. Ready? And there are movements that go with this song too. So follow along. We'll sing this a couple of times. Ready? Here are some rules for you and me. See how important they can be. Always be honest, be kind and fair. Always be good and willing to share. These are rules we all should know. We follow these rules wherever we go. Okay, you want to do that one more time? See if you can read along with these words as I sing and do the movements with me. Are you ready? Here we go. Here are some rules for you and me. See how important they can be. Always be honest, kind, and fair. Always be good and willing to share. These are rules we all should know. We follow these rules wherever we go. Okay, everyone, you can sit back down now. Nice job with that. So this next part of our lesson is optional. That means that you have a choice about whether or not you'd like to do it. So if you're learning from home, you can choose whether or not you'd like to do it. And if you're learning from school, your teacher will decide whether or not you will do it. We have a Harley Knight video about our school rules. Now, this video was made several years ago, so some of the rules that are in this video are a little bit different today than they were back then. In fact, we've added lots of new rules. So if you decide to watch this video, after you watch it, I want you to share with someone near you. It could be somebody at home, or it could be if you're learning in school, it would be somebody in school. I want you to share what rules are the same and what rules are different this year, or what new rules we have added. If you choose to watch this video, you're going to click on the blue button up in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so you would pause the video here. You would click that blue button to watch the Harley Night video. And then once you're done and after you've talked about it, you'll come back here for some more learning. Okay, if you choose to do this, I hope you enjoy the video. So here are some school rules. Now again, these school rules were written years ago. So I was thinking we could read through them and then we could talk about some new rules that we might want to add. Okay, number 1, read along with me. Always walk in the hallways. Ooh, why is that so important? Can you tell somebody near you why that rule is really important to follow? Ready, set, turn and talk. Time is up. Did you say what I was thinking? I wonder. Give me a thumbs up if you did. I was thinking it's important to walk in the hallways so that we stay safe. If we run, we could either trip and fall or we could knock into somebody else and they could fall. So we want to make sure that we're walking to stay safe. Number 2, read along with me. Listen to all teachers and adults. Why is that rule so important to follow? Turn and tell someone near you. Okay, here's what I was thinking. Give me a thumbs up if you shared something similar. I thought, well, it's really important to listen to our teachers and adults because if we're listening, then we will do our best learning. And it also helps us to stay safe. Okay, number 3, read it with me. Follow fire drill procedures. That means, what does that word procedures mean? That means like the rules for fire drills. Why is it important? Why is it really, really important that we follow those rules for fire drills? Those rules like listen to your teacher, stay online, stay quiet. Okay, ready, set, turn and talk. So I'm wondering if you shared any of the same things that I was thinking. Well, it's really important to follow fire drill procedures because, again, that will keep us safe. When we're practicing for a fire drill, we want to make sure that we're listening to our teachers and staying online, and we want to make sure that we are not talking so that we're able to hear directions. And that's very, very important because if there was a real emergency, we would really need to make sure that we can get out of the building quickly and safely. So it's super important to follow rules during fire drills. Now, what about follow playground rules? Why is that important? Turn and tell the person next to you what you're thinking. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. All right, so when we're on the playground, we need to make sure that we follow rules. Like if somebody gets hurt, tell a teacher, right? Because we want everybody to stay safe. And also, we want to make sure that we have our masks on and that we keep social distance to keep ourselves and others safe. We also want to make sure that we're kind to others on the playground, that we include everyone, and that we treat everybody with respect, even people who are different than us. So, how does that help us? Why is that important? Well, we want to make friends, right? We want to have friends, and the playground is a great place to build friendships. Now, how about this one? Always keep your hands to yourself. Why is that important? Turn and tell the person next to you. Ready, set, share. All right, so always keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, that's a super duper important rule to follow all day long. If we're not keeping our hands to ourselves, we might hurt somebody else, and we would never want to hurt anyone else. Now, what about use an indoor voice? When we are in school, we use an indoor voice. Why is that important? Turn and tell the person next to you. Ready, set, share. Stop, look, and listen. So using an indoor voice is super important. For one, if we're using an indoor voice, we'll be able to hear directions. If we don't use an indoor voice, it gets awfully noisy, and then it will be hard for us to hear our teacher's directions. And number two, if we're not using an indoor voice, we might be distracting others from doing their best learning, and that's not very fair. Now, what other rules do you think could be added to this list for our school community? Go ahead and tell somebody next to you what other rules you would add to this list for this year. Ready, set, share. One, two, three, eyes on me. So I bet some of you said to make sure to wear your mask properly. Anytime that we are not on a mask break, we are wearing our mask. That helps to keep us safe. Now, I'm not wearing my mask because nobody else is in the room with me right now. But if I was in the room with somebody else, I would be wearing my mask. Another thing I bet you said is to keep social distance. Keep some space between yourself and others. That will keep germs from spreading. And another thing that I bet you said was to keep your hands away from your face and keep your hands clean. That will help to protect us from germs. All right, there are so many school rules that we have that keep us safe, keep us doing our best learning, and help us to make friends, right? They help us follow the 3 R's. Respect, responsibility, and building relationships. So right now, I want you to think of just one school rule that you think is very important. We've talked about so many. So name one. I want you to draw a picture of yourself following that rule. And then I want you to write what that rule is. So this says, one school rule is, and you'll write what that one school rule is. Now, this sheet, if you're at home, can be found in your Google Classroom. If you're learning in school, then your teacher will give it to you. Thank you for learning with me today. Go on to follow all of those school rules to keep yourself and others safe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.